I'm going to record this. I want everybody to watch exactly what I'm doing here. I want to watch exactly what I'm doing. What I'm going to show you is, first I'm going to talk to you about paragraphs. Then we're going to talk about how paragraphs turn into an essay. Keeping in mind, when you're writing, you have to follow the writing process. You have to follow the writing process. All right. So you have to follow the writing process. All right. If you don't follow the writing process, your work, your product is not going to be what it could be. All right. A lot of people like to skip the writing process. Then they wonder why they don't do well or they don't get higher grades on their writing. Remember, writing is a higher ordered skill. It's a higher ordered skill. So it's something that it's a reflection of your thinking. Writing is a reflection of good thinking. Okay. So that means you need to think about what you want to write. So the writing process allows you to go through some steps so you can make the proper considerations, so you can gather information and think about what direction you want to go in. Okay. So in the writing process, it's a lot of thinking. All right. A lot of thinking in the writing process. So you get an assignment to do, you should spend some time thinking about exactly what you have to do or want to do depending on the situation. So depending on the situation, the assignment, if it's for school, if it's an assignment, you need to think about what's being asked of you, what the assignment is. If it's something personal, you need to think about what you want to communicate to your audience. So I want to talk about the writing process. First is brainstorming. Here you look at what you are assigned to do or what you want to do. And brainstorming, you're considering your purpose, the purpose in writing. You're also considering the audience, the folks who are, your intended audience, the people or the person you believe will write this or read it, what you have written. Okay. So your purpose and your audience. Okay. Your purpose and audience will dictate the language you use and your syntax, your sentence structure. All right. So purpose and audience would also dictate the vocabulary you use. What the vocabulary you're going to use. Purpose and audience will also dictate the context that you are writing. And context is the situation that your readers will understand. Okay. Context will also help you. The context helps make it more understandable for the reader. So if you have good context, that means you have good coherence. And that means you'll be able to write concisely. And all concisely means is straight to the point. So if you're in your brainstorming, you want to consider the purpose while you're writing it and your audience. Okay. Why am I writing? Who am I writing to? Okay. You can brainstorm in many ways. You can free write. You could do Venn diagrams. You can research the topic that you want to discuss in your writing. You can just think on it. That's what I do a lot. I just think on it. Because thinking on it helps me determine how I'm going to do research. So if you were doing a comparing, contrasting, a Venn diagram would be a great tool to use. If you don't know what a Venn diagram is, you definitely have seen it in school. Remember when the teacher took the two circles and she did like this? But that's an example of a Venn diagram. And it's good for comparing and contrasting because everything on the outside is the differences. And everything on the inside is what's similar or the same. Okay. Okay. A lot of people like to skip over the brainstorming process. A lot of people like to skip it over. All right. And it's a bad idea to skip over brainstorming. All right. Spend some time thinking about the purpose and the audience. Why are you writing and who are you writing to? Okay. It'll help you again determine the vocabulary you need to use, the context, sentence structure, the length, the form. Are you going to write a letter? Are you going to write an essay? Okay. At the end of your brainstorm, and you determine, you say, I'm going to write a paragraph. Or I'm going to write an essay. Okay. Well, let's say you decide to write a paragraph as a result of some good brainstorming. At the end of your brainstorm, whether you did a Venn diagram, you free wrote, you what I call brain dump. Brain dumping is when you just take all the ideas that you have on that particular topic and you just write it on a sheet of paper. Okay. And then after you write all the ideas down, you consider you might want to do a Venn diagram, or you look and you analyze what you have written down, and determine what you want to write about, determine how the information is similar. So brain dumping is good just to um, determine some ideas about what the purpose. Now, at the end of your brainstorm, and you want to write a paragraph, you should be able to write a topic sentence. You should be able to write a topic sentence. Okay. If you cannot write a topic sentence at the end of your brain, by the end of your, if you cannot write a topic sentence by the end of your brainstorm, then you need to continue brainstorming. If you can't write a topic sentence by the end of your brainstorm, you need to continue brainstorming. If you cannot write a topic sentence by the end of your brainstorm, you need to continue brainstorming. So the question becomes, what is a topic sentence? Well, a topic sentence, I like to call a topic sentence the boss of a paragraph. It's the boss of a paragraph. Okay, this is a symbol for a paragraph. It's the boss of a paragraph. Okay, and a topic sentence tells the paragraph or would explain what the paragraph will be about. Right? Explains, and in the so a topic sentence has two parts. It has the topic, and it has the controlling idea. Okay, and I don't care what level of writing, whether you're writing on an elementary school writing, or you're writing middle school, high school, undergraduate, graduate, professional journal, whatever level of writing that you are writing at or writing for. Anytime you write a paragraph, every paragraph must have a topic sentence. No negotiation. A topic sentence, again, is a sentence that you will find in a paragraph. Typically, it's the first or second sentence. Typically, it's the first or second sentence. It should probably always be the first, but sometimes some people write their topic sentences at the end. But typically, it's the first sentence of your paragraph. And it has the topic and controlling idea. Any sentence that does not fall under that topic sentence means that you have broke unity or that you're breaking unity. It means that you're breaking unity. Breaking unity is a bad thing because that means you're not following cohesion. And what is cohesion? Cohesion is not breaking unity. Cohesion is staying on topic. Staying on topic. So the topic sentence allows us to stay on topic. So let's give an example. Let's say that we're writing a paragraph about how delicious Big Macs are. Or let's make it a little bit more broader. Let's make it a little bit more broader. Let's say we're writing a paragraph about let's say the variety of the McDonald's menu. So the variety of McDonald's menu. Okay. This is our intent. So after we brainstormed, we said, we're gonna write about, we brainstormed and we decided we're gonna write about the variety of McDonald's menus. So all the things or the different types of things you can find on a McDonald's menu. So from that idea that we know we want to talk about the various things we would find in a McDonald's menu, we need to come up with a topic sentence right at our brain after we finish brainstorming. And again, if you can't come up with a topic sentence, you need to go back and start brainstorming some more. So when we're writing, especially when you're learning how to write effectively, always consider writing, always write in the active voice. And the active voice is really easy. This just means you're putting the subject up front, meaning the subject is doing the action. So when you're writing, there's two types of voices. There's the active voice and there's the passive voice. The passive voice can be confusing. Now remember, in academic writing, we do not want to be confusing. The whole point of academic writing and even business writing is to be coherent and concise and have cohesion, the 3 C's: coherent, cohesion, and conciseness. So you want to be coherent. Coherent means that you're understandable, that what you're saying can be understood. Cohesion, we talked about that a little bit, a couple minutes ago, meaning that you're staying on topic. And conciseness means that you're to the point. And conciseness is probably the hardest one and one that we all have to work on. It's being concise, straight to the point. Conciseness is why you need to build your vocabulary. If you have a fairly large vocabulary, it's easier to be concise. Okay. How do you build the vocabulary? It's by reading. You have to be the more and more you read, the bigger your vocabulary becomes. Okay. So we're going to write this we're going to write a topic sentence for our theme here of the variety of McDonald's menu. So if I'm writing this in the active voice, keeping these ideas of coherency and conciseness in mind, I could say something like McDonald's McDonald's restaurant. I think I spelled that wrong. Forgive my poor spelling. McDonald's restaurant offers a large variety of food choices. All right. Now I can probably make this better, but I just want to demonstrate, just for the purpose of this example, that this could be a topic sentence. McDonald's restaurant about offers a large variety of food choices. Here we have a topic, McDonald's restaurant, and my controlling idea. Underline it twice. My controlling idea in this case is offers a large variety of choices. Okay. So now I know in this paragraph, the only thing I'm going to talk about is the McDonald's menu. That's the only thing I will talk about in this paragraph, is the McDonald's menu. And how it offers so many items to purchase, to eat. So if I talk about Burger King here, guess what? I break unity. If I talk about Hardee's, I break unity. Kudu, I'm breaking unity. Your favorite, I'm breaking unity. The only thing I should find in this paragraph is about the large amount of items that McDonald's offers on its menu. That's it. Okay. So the first thing when you're writing a paragraph is you must first consider your topic sentence. That's the number one priority, is the topic sentence. Okay. Once you have a topic sentence, once you have your topic sentence written, then you need to go back to your brainstorm, or you can well, if you have your topic sentence, because we're talking about the writing process. So once you have your topic sentence written, because you brainstorm, now you got the topic sentence. Now you may need to go back and do a little bit more thinking. And we're going to call this the outline. All right, we're going to call that the outline. The outline. Okay. And what the outline does, it gives order to our thoughts. All right. Now remember, we said that the 3 C's, we have coherency, we need to be coherent. That means understandable. We need to have cohesion, meaning all the ideas match. We're not breaking unity. We're not talking out of topic or off topic. And we need to be concise, which is the hard one. All right. So what the outline does, it helps us build this idea of coherency, because it allows us to put ideas in the paragraph that's going to build the paragraph and make the paragraph believable or compelling, or what's the word I'm looking for? Believable, compelling. I'm having a brain cramp right now. So it makes your paragraph believable. It will give academic depth. It will support your purpose, right? Because remember, you have a purpose when you're writing. All right. And you can use, for these details, you can use logos, which is logic. You can use ethos, which is credibility. You have a credible, you're bringing up credibility. You know, other people do it, sources. You can use pathos, which is an emotional appeal, you know, a call to action based on emotion, right? But the key is you need to have supporting details. So during the outline, you may need to go back to the brainstorm and consider what your supporting details are going to be, given your topic sentence of McDonald's restaurant offers a large variety of choices, or let's say food choices. Okay, so you may need to go back, do a little bit more brainstorming, and then the outline allow you to put your ideas in an order that makes sense, that supports that topic sentence. And if you do that, you'll be supporting coherency. And then also, if you do that, you would avoid breaking unity, which means you're supporting your cohesion. Okay. So I might go back and brainstorm a little bit and say, okay, I'm talking about McDonald's menu. Then I'll talk about that they offer, I might want to break it down into they offer food for, they offer meat choices. They offer maybe choices for vegetarians. All right. They have what? Dessert, right? Oh, that's wrong. They have, no, is that right? Yeah. I always get that mixed up. They have food for kids. So they get stuff that appeals to kids, the Happy Meal. Right. Right. So okay, so now I can talk about they have food for everyone. All right. So food for everyone. All right. All right. What else might I want to talk about on the menu? I might want to talk about let's see, my topic says they have a large variety of choices. So they got meat choices, vegetarian choices, they have dessert choices, Happy Meal. They might have, let's say, they offer, some McDonald's have a McCafe. So they offer a wide variety of drink choices. So they have coffee. They have soda. If you're British, you say was it fizzy drinks. They have drinks with caffeine, drinks without caffeine. Right. They have milkshake. I guess that's a drink, right? That might fall under, you would have to decide whether the milkshake falls under the dessert or a drink. All right. But you know, that's up to you. Let's put it under drink right now. Even though some people might say that's a dessert. They might offer milk for kids. They offer apple juice, so healthier drink options. Apple juice and orange juice. All right. We might want to mention in this paragraph that they have a breakfast menu. And they have a lunch and dinner menu, the breakfast and lunch menu. All right. I don't know if you can call McDonald's dinner, but let's call it breakfast and lunch menu. All right. See what else can we talk about in that menu? So we got drinks, we got breakfast and lunch menu, we have the food selections for everyone. Oh, we can offer, sometimes they offer limited edition items, which have become very popular. All right. So we could talk about limited edition items or seasonal items, right? So in America, the McRib, that's a limited edition item or a seasonal item or an item that they bring every couple years. They bring the McRib back, and people go crazy over the McRib. All right, they go crazy over the McRib, but it's not a regular item. They bring it out maybe every 5 or 6 years. The McRib comes back. All right, so that's a limited edition item or McRib. In the wintertime, in the fall, sometimes they do the pumpkin spice, right? They have for kids, they always have toys, this, limited edition toys. All right. And again, the toys could be on another section. All right. All right. So you see, I'm doing a form of a brainstorming here. Okay. So now, and then you might say, if you want, let's say, we'll talk about the let's just stick to food because we don't want to break unity. Well, let's go back for a second. Remember, I put food choices here. If I took food out and just put choices, then I could talk about other things outside other than food. So let's just erase food for a second, just say choices. All right. It depends on how big. And remember, you're the author of your paragraph. Okay. You're the author, so you can make it as big as long as you want it, and be as detailed as you want, as long as you are being coherent, that all the ideas, that you're not breaking unity, you're not going off topic based on the topics that you wrote, and you're being concise. Now, we're going to talk about the 5 elements of good writing once we finish talking about the writing process, which will also help you determine what information you include in your writing, or 5 elements of good writing. All right. So now I did like a second brainstorm. Now do I want to include all of these things in my paragraph? Again, that will depend on my purpose and my audience. Okay. It also depends on how much information I have. What do I want to include? So my purpose and my audience will determine how much of this information I want to include. Okay. Now the key here, let's say I want to write, this is only one paragraph. I want to include just 3 out of the 4 things that we wrote about. All right. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the breakfast menu and the lunch menu, because that helps me kind of organize the paragraph a little bit better. And I'm going to talk about the drinks, the different types of drinks that they offer. And I'm going to talk about the limited edition specials that they typically offer, or the seasonal items. So I decided I'm just going to talk about these 3 points. What we call these points are main idea, we call them main idea points or supporting points. All right, or let's just call them main idea points. All right. Main idea points. All right. So you'll hear some people call them main idea points, some people call them supporting points. Okay. Now these points is what gives your writing depth. D-E-P-T-H, depth. All right. It's what's going to make your writing convincing, because you're going to include details that support the topic sentence. So let's now, we're gonna go and write out, look at our outline, because we did our second brainstorm. We're gonna outline now. And so now I got my topic sentence. So this is my outline. And I have my topic sentence. And we said our topic sentence was what? McDonald's restaurants offers McDonald's restaurants offer a large variety of choices. I think I'm gonna go back to food choices because we decided not to talk about anything else. All right. So that's gonna be in the top of my brainstorm there, so I can keep that in mind. And all right, so that's the boss of the paragraph. Okay, that's the boss of the paragraph. And then I'm gonna have my supporting point number 1. And I'm gonna talk about the fact that McDonald's offers both a breakfast, lunch, and lunch menu. Breakfast and lunch. Here, I might have 1, and then I can have A. I talk about breakfast. I might start off with something like breakfast is offered from 5 a.m. whenever time McDonald's open to what is it, 11? I think breakfast stops at 11 at McDonald's, 11 a.m. And then B, I could talk about, excuse me, and then 1A or 1, excuse me, I could talk about the types of food all right, the types of food that you can get there. I'm gonna call this one A here. This breakfast offered from 11 a.m. Oh, and then I could put while lunch is offered from 11 a.m. to closing, to midnight, all right, or whenever they close. Okay, and then this will be a part of my little sentence that goes with that introduces my main point. All right, so this is my main point number 1. All right. My main point number 1 is the types of food. Oh, I'm getting sloppy here. So this is my main point number 1 right here. So types of food, breakfast. All right. And then I can just list the types of food they offer: sausage and eggs, and pancakes, and what else they offer? Egg McMuffin. So all those things they offer. Types of food for breakfast. And then here, this would be just A. And then B could be what types of food? Lunch. And I can go and talk about the Big Mac that you can get in lunch. So everything you can find in the lunch menu. Big Mac and double cheese and chicken burger, all those things, and French fries, because you can't get French fries in breakfast, right? But you can get hash browns. I mentioned the hash browns here. All right. So all those things you can find in the lunch menu, on the lunch menu. Okay. So this is my main point number one, is that they offer a breakfast and lunch menu. All right. My main point number two all right, is they have a variety, they have many types of drinks. McDonald's offers, McDonald's offers or has a wide selection of drinks for sale. Now, a little thing that I do is my main point number one will always be the point that I have most of a lot of information about. That's would be my strongest point. My main point number two is not going to be as strong as number one, because we don't want our paragraph to be 1,000 sentences long, because remember that word concise, right? We want to be concise. So McDonald's has a wide variety of drinks. And here I might talk about the different drinks they have. The different drinks you can get. And because we already kind of have an organization of breakfast and lunch, I might break it down for different drinks, breakfast. So break it down like that. All right. And then my B would be different drinks, lunch. All right. All right. So here I'm going to have, now I want you guys to notice something here. All of these concepts, they're going to turn to sentences. So right now I got my topic sentences one, and then I got this, I'm going to turn this main point number one into a sentence. McDonald's offers breakfast and lunch. That's going to be two. And then I got three right here. Sentence three is going to be breakfast. McDonald's offers breakfast from 5 to 10, while they also offer lunch from 11 to midnight. And then I'm going to turn this into a sentence. That'll be with 1, 2, 3. And this will be my fourth one, my fourth sentence about the type of foods they offer for breakfast. I may have a sixth one where I go into about where I list them. And then my seventh sentence is they also offer a lunch menu, extensive lunch menu, 7. And then 8, I list and give examples. All right. Then my sentence 9, which is my main point number 2, is that McDonald's has a wide variety of drinks for sale. All right. And then what was that, 8? And then 9, sentence 9, I talk about the drinks for breakfast. Sentence 10, I talk about the drinks for lunch. I'm kind of finished there. Then I go to my main point number 3. And I'm going to talk about what? The limited mystery, the limited and seasonal. So that'd be limited and seasonal menu. All right, and here I might say something, this is what makes McDonald's, this is what set, that these menus, these special menus or these special offerings set McDonald's apart from everyone else. Apart from their competitors. Okay. And then, and I want this one kind of short, because as I said earlier, my main point number one, that's going to be my big one. That's going to be the one I have a lot of evidence, right? My main point number two, it's going to be good. Not as many sentences as number two. And then my number three is going to be really short. All right. These so it has a limited menu. These specials set McDonald's apart from the competitors. And I might add, the McRib, and then, the special toys they offer, or the McRib, the pumpkin spice they come out with in the fall. So let's do B here, pumpkin spice. Just give a couple examples. Pumpkin spice. Can we think of another one? The McRib, which is the famous one, the pumpkin spice. Maybe there's a special dessert they come out with. The McFlurry. I think that's a regular stay in the menu now. Let's see, what else do they normally go? Oh, maybe like those jalapeno poppers, jalapeno poppers, little things that they do sometimes. All right. So that's three. I only need three of those, quick little simple sentences. All right. And then the last thing I need for my outline is to consider my conclusion. So my fourth would be my concluding sentence. Every paragraph should have some type of conclusion when you're writing a one paragraph piece of work. Okay. So every paragraph should have a conclusion, especially when you're writing a one paragraph sentence piece of work. So the conclusion here would be, there's three things you can do for the conclusion. You can restate the topic sentence. All right, so restate the topic sentence. So all that means is saying that topic sentence in a different way. Okay. Or you can make a recommendation. All right, you got to try McDonald's. It's the best fast food chain ever. So you can make a recommendation. All right. So you can restate the topic sentence, make a recommendation, or give advice, make a recommendation, give advice, same thing. Or you can summarize the paragraph. All right. In one sentence, you can do a one sentence summary of the paragraph. Sometimes two sentences where you hit the main points. This is where when your paragraph is really big. So summarize in this case may be, in conclusion, McDonald's has a breakfast and lunch menu, many drinks, and they offer a seasonal and special menu. That would be a summary. Okay. So you can conclude however way you want. All right. So the summary really comes from those main points. So you summarize using the main points that we discussed. Restate the topic sentence. That's all you do in this, saying the topic sentence again using different words. Again, different words. All right. And that's your conclusion. And then your recommendation could be something like, you need to try McDonald's because the food is delicious. Something like this. Okay. So now I have an outline for my paragraph. This outline, all I have to do now is take this outline and turn them into sentences. That's all I gotta do, just by following that structure. So it makes writing really easy because now you have thought, and now you have your cohesion, you'll have your coherence. Well, you're gonna be working on your coherence, but you're starting to form cohesion now by putting everything in order, and also coherence, because if everything is in the right order, it's gonna be easier to understand. All right. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to write every sentence, but I am going to say it. Follow me in the outline. I'm not going to write it. I'm just going to say it for the sake of time. So if I follow this outline, I might write something like, um, for one sentence paragraph, you normally don't need a hook, right? Another thing too, I get a lot from my students, don't ask questions in the first sentence. Like, have you ever been to McDonald's, or which restaurant do you think is better, McDonald's or Burger King? No, don't do that. That makes your writing academically weak. So never start a paragraph with a question. Never do that. Okay, let me say that again. Never start your paragraph with a question. If you want to do that, then take that question and turn it into a statement. All right. So have you ever, so let's say you want to write something like, have you ever, what is your favorite restaurant? All right. So turn that into a statement such as, many people love fast food, and McDonald's is normally on the top of the list. Okay. That's if you want to create a hook. But normally when you're writing academically for a one paragraph piece of work, you don't really need a hook. You can go right into your topic sentence. Okay. But sometimes you might want that introduction sentence to create some context. All right. That's fine. But you can go right into your topic sentence. It says McDonald's, and say McDonald's offers, or McDonald's restaurants offer a large variety of food choices. All right. McDonald's customers can find a breakfast and lunch menu depending on the time of day they enter the restaurant. Breakfast is normally offered from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m., while lunch is offered from 11 a.m. to midnight. The breakfast menu at McDonald's normally includes items such as sausage, egg, and cheese, pancakes, egg McMuffin, and hash browns. The lunch menu, or customers may find can find Big Macs, double cheeseburgers, chicken burgers, and French fries on the lunch menu. Okay. Also, McDonald's offers a wide variety or selection of drinks. During the breakfast menu, customers can order drinks such as coffee, orange juice, and milk. The lunch menu drink offerings typically are soda such as Coca-Cola and Miranda, iced tea, and milkshakes if you think milkshakes are a drink, right? Finally, now notice I'm using this word finally here in my last main point. Finally, take that down as your notes. Finally introduces the last main point. Okay. Finally introduces the last main point. Finally, we call these signal words or transitional words, and they help with cohesion. Remember that C word, cohesion? They help with cohesion. So finally, McDonald's often bring in new items or new items or traditional items that are not always on the menu. One of the most popular items that McDonald's brings back often is the McRib. These special items vary from market to market. Another item based on the market one lives in is when McDonald's brings back the pumpkin spice. Oh, excuse me, scratch that. In most markets during the fall and winter seasons, McDonald's will offer a pumpkin spice drink or a variety of pumpkin spice drinks, such as pumpkin spice lattes, pumpkin spice coffee, and pumpkin spice milkshakes. In the summertime, McDonald's sometimes brings back the jalapeno popper. Okay. And then I'm going to my conclusion. In conclusion, all right, that's another transition or signal word. The signaling is signaling that I'm finished. Finally says this is the last main point. In conclusion says this is the end of my paragraph. I'm wrapping it up. All right. Now you only write in conclusion when you're wrapping it up when you're writing one paragraph. In conclusion, McDonald's, the McDonald's menu, in conclusion, the McDonald's menu offers breakfast, lunch, a wide variety of drinks, and seasonal items. Full stop, you're finished. Full stop, you're finished. All right. Now, again, I could have wrote that for you, but for the sake of time, I said it. Okay. And I am recording this so you can go back and listen. All right. Now, let's break down some of the things that you heard me say. I made note of some of those things like the signal words and the transition words. Now, what I want you guys to do is go back in Google transitional words and Google's signal words. Signal words allow you to know that there's a certain point of that certain things are happening, or you're at a certain point in your paragraph, like first, second, right? Normally you will see first and second in something like a process paragraph, or when you're explaining something, right? Explaining how to do something was explaining a process. First you do this, next you do this, after that, okay? Other signals are the ones we just went over, like finally will signal that you're at your last main point. In conclusion signals that you're wrapping the paragraph up, that you're finishing your thought. Okay. So we have not just in conclusion, but you have all in all, to conclude. All right. You can go and look up for yourself the many different types of signal words and transition words. These words, it's very important that you have signal words and transition words because they help with coherency, and they also help with cohesion. Remember those three words that are important: coherency, cohesion, and conciseness. Coherency is to make sure your writing is understandable. Okay. In order to have good coherency, that means you have to have good syntax, good sentence structure, and that you use words appropriately. Okay. Cohesion means that all the ideas are together. Signal words help you ensure that all your ideas are read well together. Okay. And when we talk about coherency, coherency is extremely important because coherency also allows you to read something with good flow, with good constant flow. Okay. So with good constant flow. Okay. All right. So let's go back and review how a paragraph should look. Let's just summarize what a paragraph should look like. What are the elements of a paragraph? The elements of a paragraph are so here's the elements of a paragraph. One, you have to have a topic sentence. We talked about that. Two, you need to have main points. All right, the main points depends on your brainstorming, your purpose. All right, the reason why you're writing. It also could depend on your audience. All right, how much does your audience want to read? Okay. Three, you need to have supporting details. All right, so when I said that McDonald's, during the breakfast menu, you can get egg McMuffins and hash browns and pancakes. These were supporting details. Okay. All right. Four, you have to have transition and signal words. So look those up when you finish. Signal words. These help with cohesion and they help with coherence. Examples are in conclusion. First. Second. However. Next. Then. Finally. Consequently. Furthermore. There's so many. I can go on and on. But we call these words transitional words or signal words. Transitional words help you move from one point to another point, from one sentence to another sentence. These are transitional, and they give you some clues as to what's going on. So if I said, however, that means, however, means the previous statement, I'm now about to say something opposite. All right. Most of the cats in the box are white. Full stop. However, comma, there are 2 cats that are black. All right. So the however is a transition because it allows me to introduce this concept that's opposite from the previous statement. All right. The man was caught stealing. Full stop. Consequently, he was arrested. Consequently is a transitional word because it allows me to transition from the point in which the man was caught stealing, and consequently lets me know that there's an effect. There's something that happened to him because he was caught stealing. So it transitions from him stealing to the point where he was arrested. Okay. The speaker made excellent points. Full stop. Furthermore, he gave the audience many things to think about. Furthermore, it's a transition because it allows you to transition from one thought to another thought, and furthermore tells us that additional, so something more was given. All right. In conclusion is a signal word because it tells us that the next idea is finishing up, or the paragraph is finishing. First, interest signals that this is the first main point. Second signals that this is the second main point. Next signals that this is the next thing to happen, the next thing that you do. Okay. So transition and signal words are very important for coherence and cohesion, because it gives you context clues to understand what's going on, and it makes it not only understandable, but easier to read, easier to consume, and know what's going on in the text. And then the fifth thing that we need is a conclusion. We need a conclusion. All right. And remember, the conclusion can do three things. One, it can remind us of what the topic sentence was. And if it reminds us of the topic sentence, it reminds us the reason, the purpose of the paragraph. Two, it can give advice or make recommendations based on what you talked about. Don't break unity. If you're going to do recommendation or advice, don't break unity. That recommendation and advice should align with what the topic sentence is about. And then three, you can summarize. A summary, what you should be doing in the summary is briefly acknowledging the three main points, or however many main points that you have. All right. Now let's say you have 5 main points. You might not want to summarize, you might not want to mention all 5 main points, but maybe the top 3, the most important 3. All right. You use the discretion as per your writing style, what your intent is. But you must have a topic sentence, you must have main points, you must have supporting details, you must use transitions, and you have to have conclusions. Now, none of this works until first you're able to write a sound paragraph. Excuse me, a sound sentence. So make sure that you, number one, know your proper sentence structure. Okay. Remember, sentence structure is key. You have to, in order to do all those things we talked about over the last hour, you have to have good sentence structure. Sentence structure goes with coherence. Because if you have improper sentence structure, you're not going to be understandable, regardless of the outlining and brainstorming. You have to have good sentence structure in order to be understandable, also to be concise. Okay. Now, conciseness we work on in the editing part. I didn't talk about editing and revising, but editing and revising is what you do when you finish. So we have that paragraph, we draft it out, and we make it better. We make sure we don't, first we edit, we revise for ideas, make sure our ideas are sound, they're correct, there's no flaw in logic, that we have academic depth, that we're writing on the level that we should write, right? That we're using appropriate vocabulary and we're using the vocabulary correctly. Again, we don't have issues in logic. Okay, that we're considering logos, ethos, and pathos. Logos being logic, ethos being credibility and reasoning, and morals, and pathos being appeals to emotion. So a part of the writing process is we got brainstorm, outlining, drafting. All right. So when you write a paragraph, you're not just finished. Now you need to draft that paragraph. You need to draft for revision, revise for ideas that I just talked about. And then the last thing you do is you edit. Your edit is making sure that your commas in your right place, your spelling is correct, all your mechanics are correct. So that's the easy part, is to fix, to make sure your commas are in the right place, you have the right punctuation, you have the right, that, you didn't use the wrong word, you're like effect, the spelling is correct. You had the right subject verb agreement, tense uses, using the right tenses, things like this. All right. So writing process, brainstorm, outline, drafting. What type of drafts? Revising for ideas, and then edit for spelling and mechanical and grammar errors. All right. Let's briefly talk about sentence structure. There are 4 types of sentences you can write when you're writing a paragraph or an essay or anything. 4 types of sentences. Or 4 sentence structures, rather. You have a simple sentence, which will have one idea, one simple subject, one simple verb. Simple sentences can be long or they could be short. They could be short or they could be long. Mary runs is a simple sentence. Mary runs every day on the road close to Sarah's house. All right. So Mary runs every day on the road close to Sarah's house. That's a simple sentence. Why is it a simple sentence? Because it has a simple subject, Mary, and a simple verb, runs. All right. And you notice there's no other verbs here. Okay. So in a simple sentence, you're always going to have either, you're going to have one subject and one verb, or you can have 2 subjects. So I'll show you. You can have Mary and Steve runs. And here you have 2 subjects, right? Mary and Steve run. All right, so that's subject, subject, verb. You can have Mary and Steve run and talk. All right, and that would be subject, subject, verb, verb. And then you can have Mary runs and talks. All right, that would be subject, verb, verb. All right, so you can have a combination of subject, verb, subject, subject, verb, subject, subject, verb, verb, and subject, verb, verb. All of these are simple sentences with these combinations. Okay, because at the end of the day, there's just only one idea. In this case, in this example, it's the idea that Mary is running. All this other information, they are adverb phrases and prepositional phrases that you can add on to a main clause. Okay. So that's a simple sentence. Then you have compound sentences. Compound sentences will give you a structure like this: subject, verb, conjunction, subject, verb. Or any other those forms that we did before: subject, subject, verb, conjunction, subject, subject, verb. All right. Subject, verb, verb, conjunction, subject, verb. It could be any key. It could be any combination. The point is you have a subject, verb. So in the conjunction, you have a subject, verb. And what I mean by this, you have clauses. So compound sentences are nothing more than two independent clauses. In two independent clauses joined together with conjunctions. All right. What is a clause? Well, you have two types of clauses. Well, let's go back to the compound sentence for a second. Let's give you an example. For example, Mary likes to run, but Harry likes to walk. All right, that's a compound sentence. Why? I have my subject, verb, conjunction, and subject, verb. Okay. I have two independent clauses. Mary likes to run, or Mary likes, and Harry likes. Okay. But it's a conjunction. Now, the only conjunctions, only coordinating conjunctions can make compound sentences. Only coordinating conjunctions can make compound sentences. So what are your coordinating conjunctions? Well, we know them because we call them fanboys. And what are they? For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Now, so is a tricky one because so can be a coordinator and it can be a subordinator. We'll talk about that later. Okay. So for is, when do we use for? For reason. The reason. And it's for more information. Nor is to show nothing, that nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. But is to show difference. Or is to show choice. Yet is to show irony. So as a coordinator is to show cause and effect. For example, I'll give you a sentence for each one. For John will train for he wants to compete in the race. John wants to train for he wants to compete in a race. Subject, verb, and a conjunction right in the middle. All right. John will train and he will work full time. Okay. Here, subject, verb, conjunction. Nor. John will neither train nor he will work for full time. So that means he's not going to do neither one or either one. So that's subject, verb, subject, verb. But John will train, but he will not train hard. All right. Or John will either train or he will work full time. Yet, John will train for the race, yet he will not compete. All right. So that's irony because he's training for the race, but he's not competing for it. So that we would call that irony, a form of irony. All right. So we use yet there. And then the last one. So John has a race today. John has a race tomorrow, the next week. So he will not attend class next week. So he will not attend class. So John has a race next week, so he will not attend class. Because he has a race, cause he's not going to attend class, effect. All right. So that is your coordinating conjunctions. These coordinating conjunctions make compound sentences. And I just gave you 7 examples of compound sentences using all of the coordinating conjunctions. All right. So these are all compound sentences. So we talked about simple sentences. We talked about compound sentences. Now let's talk about complex sentences. Complex sentences, we use these sentences to show condition. All right, these are sentences that show condition. What do I mean by condition? If something happens, then something else might not happen. If I do this, then that will happen. If I jump up, my keys may fall out my pocket. If I run too fast, I'm probably going to get tired. These are conditions. If I spend all my money, I will not have money for the rest of the month. Okay, these are all conditions. When Sarah comes, she will bring me some food. Condition. I'm only going to get the food if Sarah comes. These are all conditions. If Tom sees me, I will have to work. Now watch what I'm going to do here. Watch what I'm about to do here. I will have to work if Tom sees me. All right. These are complex sentences. Now, remember we talked about clauses, or did we talk about clauses? Clauses, you have 2 types of clauses. And complex sentences has both types of clauses in them. So there are 2 types of clauses. There are independent clauses, and we talked about that for compound sentences. Independent clauses are complete ideas. Independent clauses are complete ideas. Independent clauses are complete ideas. Okay. Dependent clauses, which is the second type of clause, a dependent clause is an incomplete idea. So a independent clause can be by itself. An independent clause is a sentence. I like chocolate chip cookies. I like chocolate chip cookies. That is an independent clause. I like chocolate chip cookies. Independent clause. It's a complete thought. You know that I like chocolate chip cookies. A dependent clause is a dependent clause is an incomplete thought, and it cannot be alone, and it's conditioned. It needs to be with something else. If I said, if I like chocolate chip cookies, or when I eat chocolate chip cookies, or because I like chocolate chip cookies, that can't stand alone. That can't be by itself. That is not a sentence. I like chocolate chip cookies. That's a sentence. That's a sentence. That's also called the independent clause. I like chocolate chip cookies. A dependent clause is an incomplete idea. It's an incomplete thought. It is not a sentence. If I like chocolate chip cookies, when I eat chocolate chip cookies, because I love chocolate chip cookies. Do you guys see the pattern? I love chocolate chip cookies. Independent clause, complete thought. If I love chocolate chip cookies, incomplete thought. So what is the difference between the independent clause and the dependent clause? The difference is the subordinator. The subordinator is a conjunction. Remember, we just talked about coordinating conjunctions. Well, you also have something called subordinating conjunctions. And all subordinating conjunctions do is make complete thoughts incomplete. That's all they do. All right. I hate when I can't spell. I spelled this correctly. Subordinating conjunctions. There we go. All right. Subordinating conjunctions. All they do is make incomplete thoughts, make complete thoughts incomplete. I love chocolate chip cookies. If I love chocolate chip cookies, because I love chocolate chip cookies. All right. I love chocolate chip cookies, independent clause. If I love chocolate chip cookies, dependent clause. The difference is the subordinator. Now, in a complex sentence, you will have both an independent clause and a dependent clause together. For example, read the example I put on the board. If Tom sees me, get my S here. If Tom sees me, I will have to work. So what is the dependent clause here? If Tom sees me, I will have to work. Yes, if Tom sees me is the dependent clause. I will have to work is the independent clause. Now, notice in the first example of this complex sentence, I put if Tom sees me, then I put comma, I will have to work. Why did I put the comma there? Because when the dependent clause comes first, you have to separate the dependent clause from the independent clause, and they're separated by commas. You have to separate the dependent clause from the independent clause, and they're separated by commas. However, if the independent clause comes first, you do not need a comma. If the independent clause comes first, you do not need a comma. I will have to work if Tom sees me. No comma needed. I will have to work if Tom sees me. No comma needed. So what is a complex sentence? A complex sentence is a combination of one independent clause and one dependent clause. The dependent clause can come first, but if it comes first, you need a comma. If the independent clause comes first, then you do not need a comma. Okay. When and why do we use complex sentences? To show condition. So going back to our McDonald's paragraph, we could write a sentence like, if someone wants breakfast at 11:30 in the morning, comma, they will not get it from McDonald's. Okay. Or we could say something like, customers can have McDonald's, customers can eat breakfast at McDonald's if they come before 11 a.m. Customers can have breakfast at McDonald's if they come before 11 a.m. If customers come before 11 a.m., comma, they can have breakfast. If customers come before 11 a.m., comma, they can have breakfast. Customers can have breakfast if they come before 11 a.m. Customers can have breakfast at McDonald's if they come before 11 a.m. Customers can have breakfast at McDonald's if they come before 11 a.m. If customers come before 11 a.m., comma, they can have breakfast. If customers come before 11 a.m., comma, they can have breakfast. Okay. So when do we use complex sentences? We use complex sentences to show condition. I will go to the mall if my mother gives me money. I will go to the mall if my mother gives me money. If my mother does not give me money, I'm not going to the mall. I will go to the mall if my mother gives me money. If my mother gives me money, comma, I will go to the mall. I will go to the mall because I need shoes. Because I need shoes, I will go to the mall. So the question would be, well, what are the subordinators? Well, there are many, unfortunately, unlike coordinated conjunctions where you can just say fanboys, you just need to know the subordinators. So you can go on Google, what are the subordinating conjunctions? And Google should give you a whole list of subordinating conjunctions. Because, if, so, since, when, where, okay? There's a lot of coordinating conjunctions. Subordinating conjunctions. Now let's talk about the one so, because so is a subordinator and it's a coordinator. The difference between so as a subordinator and so as a coordinator is the reason, or what's going on in the sentence. So as a coordinator is, we said before, is what? Remember? Remember what we said before? So as a coordinator to make a compound sentence, that's what? What is that? Cause and effect. Okay. Mary lost her money, so I gave her $5. Okay, that's cause and effect. If Mary didn't lose her money, I wouldn't have given her $5. Mary lost her money. Lost her money. Mary lost her money, so I gave her $5. Mary lost her money, so I gave her $5. So there is a coordinator because it's showing cause and effect. I will visit Mary so I can give her $5. Ooh, that's different. In this case, so is now a subordinator, because so as a subordinator is purpose, shows purpose. Okay. So as a subordinator shows purpose. I will visit Mary so I can give her $5. All right. It's no condition there. All right. I'm going to go visit her so I can give her $5. That's the reason why, that's the purpose in me visiting her. Now notice on one, I put a comma, and the other I did not. When so is a coordinator showing cause and effect, you need a comma in front of so. When so is a subordinator, no comma. So when so is showing purpose, no comma. And that's how you know whether you have a compound sentence or a complex sentence. And as a teacher, that's how I know if you have it wrong. Because if I see you put a comma in front of so, and it's a comma showing purpose, a subordinator, then I know you use your comma wrong. All right. So we put a comma in front of so if it shows cause and effect. Mary lost her money, comma, so I gave her $5. You do not put a comma in front of so if I'm showing purpose. I will visit Mary so I can give her $5. That's purpose. No comma. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. The last sentence I want to talk to you about is a sentence you don't use a lot. You don't use a lot, but we normally use it when we want to summarize a point, when we want to make a big summary of a point. And these are what we call compound complex sentence. And just like it sounds, all it is a combination of a compound sentence with a complex sentence. All right, we've already talked about both compound and complex, but let's write one. Let's say we want to go, let's keep with Mary. Mary lost her wallet Mary lost her wallet, so I will give her $5. Not a lot of money, right? I would give her $5. What? Since I was in the neighborhood, because I'm a nice guy. Or I might want to say in the neighborhood or her neighborhood. So Murray lost her wallet. So I will give her, I put a comma right there. Oh, naughty. No, it's cause and effect. I'm right. Murray lost her wallet. So I will give her $5 since I was in the neighborhood. That's a compound complex sentence because you have three clauses there. You have three clauses. First clause is Murray lost her wallet, which is what type of clause is that? Independent or dependent? What type of clause is that? Independent or dependent? What type of clause is that? Independent or dependent? That's an independent clause. All right. So I will give her, gee whiz. So I will give her, what type of clause is that? So I will give her $5. What type of clause is that? That's also independent. Since I was in the neighborhood, what type of clause is that? Yes, that's a dependent clause. Why is it dependent? Because since is a subordinator. What's going on? Because since is a subordinator. Okay. So here in the compound complex, we have three clauses, two independent clauses and one dependent clause. Now, can somebody put the dependent clause up front? How would it sound if you put the dependent clause up front? How would it sound if I put the dependent clause up front? And what will I have to do? What would I have to do if I put that dependent clause up front? How would it sound? How would it read if I put the dependent clause up front? And what would I have to do if I put that dependent clause up front? What would I have to do? Well, it would sound like this. Since I was in the neighborhood, comma, why? Because that's the dependent clause coming first, right? Since I was in the neighborhood, comma. Now, if you say Mary lost her wallet, because that wouldn't make sense, right? So since I was in the neighborhood, comma, what comes next? Since I was in the neighborhood, comma, I gave Mary $5. All right. Since I was in the neighborhood, I gave Mary $5. Oh, we got a problem there. Since I was in the neighborhood, I gave Mary $5 for she lost her wallet. Tricked you guys, didn't I? Since I was in the neighborhood, comma, I gave Mary $5, comma, for I was in the before she lost her wallet. Since I was in the neighborhood, comma, I gave Mary $5, comma, for she lost her wallet. You guys see that? That was an advanced one on you. Because if you would say, since I was in the neighborhood, comma, Mary lost her wallet, so I gave her $5, that wouldn't make sense, would it? And if I would have said, since I was in the neighborhood, comma, I gave Mary $5, so she lost her wallet, that wouldn't make sense either. All right. Okay. Or if you said, since I was in the neighborhood, comma, I gave her $5 because she lost her wallet, then you would have two dependent clauses, and there's no such thing as that. It's only a compound complex. All right, you can't have two dependent clauses.
Since I was in the
So,
neighborhood,
so since I was in the neighborhood, comma, I
Mary,
gave Mary $5 for she lost her wallet. So you needed to change the coordinating conjunction there to for. Since I was in the neighborhood, comma, I gave Mary $5, comma, for she lost her wallet. All right.
Mary lost
And that's
her wallet. Give her $5. Since I was in the neighborhood, Mary lost her wallet. What about
no,
the
you don't want to put Mary lost her wallet after since I was in the neighborhood. Since I was in the neighborhood, I gave Mary $5 since she lost her wallet. Oh, excuse me. No, I'm sorry. Since I was in the neighborhood, I messed up on that one. Since I was in the neighborhood, I gave Mary $5 for she lost her wallet. For is the only coordinated conjunction. Because remember, it's a compound. We need a compound sentence. So since I was in the neighborhood, I gave Mary $5 for she lost her wallet.
Since I was in the neighborhood, I gave Mary $5. Okay.
For she lost her wallet. All right. So let's just quickly review. You have four types of sentence structures. You have a sentence, simple sentence, compound sentence, simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, and compound complex. Then when you're writing, most of your sentences should be simple sentences. When you're writing, most of your sentences should be simple sentences. All right. So let's say you have a 12-sentence paragraph. And this is not a rule, by the way, but here's the key. Remember, we said that we want to be coherent. Simple sentences are the most coherent out of all the sentences. They're the most coherent. Okay. So we strive as much as possible to write simple sentences because they're the most coherent and often they are more concise. It's not a rule. It's not a rule. It's just a good piece of writing. Okay. The last thing I want to leave you on, and then we have to finish because it's past the time. The last thing I want to leave you on is the 5 elements of good writing. And you guys need to go back. I'm gonna send you the link to this video on YouTube. You guys need to watch this video over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. Just in case you missed something. Here's the 5 elements of good writing that you always want to consider when you're writing. The 5 elements of good writing. All right. You want to consider these 5 things every time you write. 1, we talked about it already. Purpose. Why are you writing? Why? What is your intent? This will help you brainstorm efficiently and have purpose and use the proper vocabulary. 2, the audience. Who are you writing for? Who are you writing to? Who will read whatever you're writing? Your audience. This will help you determine what vocabulary you need. What type of writing you're going to write. Are you going to write a letter? Are you going to write an essay? Are you going to write a compare and contrast? Are you going to write an argumentative? Are you going to write a process paragraph? All right. So audience and purpose will decide that. The third thing is clarity. Clarity is about being clear. understandable. All right. Your reader doesn't try, your reader does not have to guess what you're trying to say. Reader does not have to guess. All right. In academic writing, we don't want the reader to guess. Remember, in academic writing, we're not there to entertain the reader. We're there to inform them. We're not there to confuse the reader. We're there to make things clear and understandable for the reader. We're not there to trick the reader. Academic writing is not creative writing. Okay, that's one of the biggest things that people make a mistake on. You're not there to entertain the reader in academic writing. You're there to get to the point as quick as possible and give the reader information that they need to do something. You're there to convince them. You're there to inform them, express the idea, to get them to do something, get them to believe something. You're not there to entertain them. You're not there to confuse them. Okay. There's no mysteries when you're writing in academic writing. There's no mysteries. This is why we want to write in the active voice. So be clear. Clarity is saying exactly what you mean by using the right words and the right sentence structure. All right. And with clarity, also is part of conciseness. All right. But clarity, but forget that for a second. Clarity is just by being clear on what you mean. You're not vague, you're precise. Opposite of vague. You don't go around the barn, you go straight. The shortest distance is a straight line between 2 points. Okay. Clarity. Four is unity. Unity is cohesion. All your ideas in a paragraph must be on topic. All right. Unity also helps us, along with clarity, using transition words that we talked about, and signal words, and unity. But more importantly, making sure that you utilize the writing process. That everything that your topic sentence is about, it's in there. If your topic sentence doesn't refer to that or mentions it, or if it's not mentioned in the topic sentence or within the scope of the topic sentence, you're breaking unity. So all the ideas should be similar. And the fifth elements, so ideas are the same, are on topic. Notice when we wrote the paragraph about McDonald's, we didn't mention Burger King. We didn't mention Hardee's. We didn't mention Hershey's or Kudo or Shawarma House or anywhere else. We only talked about McDonald's. And not only that, we didn't talk about the prices. Notice on that we didn't talk about prices. We didn't talk about how fast the food comes out. We didn't talk about working at McDonald's. We didn't talk about cleanliness. We didn't even talk about health. Okay, we only talked about the items on the menu and everything pertaining to the menu. When can you order certain items? And then the fifth is coherence. Coherence meaning everything should read well together. You should be able to read well together. Everything meshes well together. So all the sentences read well together because you have the transition words, signal words, your ideas. You worked on putting your ideas in a order that makes sense. You use logos, ethos, pathos. There's a purpose. It reads well. It's very understandable because you were clear. So all the sentences are understandable. You're utilizing good grammar, good mechanics, good sentence structure. All right. So these are the 5 elements of good writing: purpose, audience, clarity, unity, coherence. All right. That's the end of today's writing class. Again, I will make a link of this, put it in YouTube and share it with you. You need to watch this video over and over and over and over and over again until you understand it. And the parts of the video you don't understand, then you need to go in and get more, go back on Google and clarify it. Do a worksheet on it. Go over to YouTube, clarify. If I mentioned something that you need a little bit more understanding on, how to clauses, or how to write a complex sentence, or how to write a compound complex sentence, or clarity, or purpose. All these things you can YouTube and Google, and they'll give you more examples. All right. I tried to give you an overview by also being specific at the same time. Okay. So I pushed, literally I crammed 2 years worth of a writing course in 1 hour, or actually 2 hours, 2 hours. Okay. It's up to you guys to go and research those things that you're unclear about. And more importantly, practice them. We're gonna do another session, hopefully on Sunday. We'll do one more session on essay writing. It's not gonna be as long as this session because essay writing is the same class over again. But I'm gonna show you how we take how we could take a paragraph and turn a paragraph into an essay. Okay, writing essays. If you can write a paragraph, you can write an essay. So I'll show you the structure of an essay, which is not that hard, because if you understand this, you will understand essay quite simply once I show you how you can just expand the main point sentences and turn the topic sentences into a thesis statement. So the next time I'll show you how to write a thesis statement and show you how to organize an essay for you, especially on a university level or post-secondary level. Okay. So I highly advise, once I send you guys this very detailed but overview of writing, that you watch it over and over again and get the points that I'm trying to make. It's important that you work on your sentence structure so you can do those things to create a proper paragraph. If you can write a paragraph, you can write an essay. All right, so hopefully you guys got something out of this. And I will send this link over to you once it converts and I turn it into a YouTube. It's gonna I'll probably finish tomorrow, if it doesn't finish tonight. I will talk to you guys later.
Thanks.
Bye for now.
Thank you so much.